In this video, we are going to understand what stateless and stateful widgets are in Flutter. What is state? State is the sum of all the variables and information that an app needs to keep in its memory when it is active in order to run well. There is two types of state, local state and application state. Local state is state that only affects one widget and the rest of the application does not need to know about the changes in the state occurring in that widget. Essentially, it can be contained in one widget and can be managed through inbuilt tools without requiring external libraries for state management. Application state is state that potentially affects many widgets and therefore more than one widget needs to be aware of the changes of state. So the app needs to remember it for the next time it uses it. Pretty universal example is when you set a theme preference in an app, that is app state. Because the entire application needs to know whether you're light theme or dark theme so that you don't switch screens and find that one screen is in light theme and the other screen is in dark theme. So this can make the state a little bit complex to manage. Next thing to understanding stateful and stateless widgets are what are widgets by themselves. Widgets are the individual building blocks that make a Flutter app. Conceptually similar to components in other frameworks, the Flutter documentation does say that Flutter borrows heavily from a front-end framework for web development called React. Widgets make up the entire UI or user interface of a Flutter application. Just like tiny Lego blocks build on each other. So that's the way I think of widgets. They're just building blocks you can put together to make up the entire app. So now to the question, stateless versus stateful widgets. What is a stateless widget? Stateless widgets are just widgets in your Flutter app that do not contain any type of state. They do not need to change. For example, a red text will stay red even if you tap on it. And therefore, stateless widgets don't respond to user input. And they are essentially static. What are stateful widgets then? Stateful widgets hold some data regarding a widget. They contain state and therefore they can change. They can update the state. For example, a user tapping a heart icon causes it to fill maybe with color red to say that now something has changed in the state. This indicates some state changes within that particular icon. So therefore that icon had to be re-rendered. Therefore, a stateful widget is capable of responding to user input, and the Flutter framework achieves this by essentially rebuilding or repainting the UI at that point. So what are the best practices or best tips regarding stateful and stateless applications in Flutter? You need to keep as much of your app as possible stateless. This is better for performance and makes your app faster. And as a general rule, if a state can stay local, do not move it to application state. Only use state management libraries where truly necessary. Do your due diligence as regards the app you want to build before settling on a state management library. And if you're new to development in general, please check out my previous video on tips and advices for how to start and how to maximize your learning process and how to shorten your learning curve. Don't forget to like the video and see you in the next one.